Okay, so if you can just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, my name is Johnean. I'm 35 and I have 3 living children and 1 angel baby. And yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mum at the moment because I've got a 8-month-old and yeah.
You got your hands full.
Yeah, yeah.
Get it, sus. And what made you, or what makes you want to share your story on the Let Me Speak campaign?
I'm gonna be honest. Originally, I thought I wanted to share my story because I wanted, to share it to see if anyone else resonated with what I went through, and what I've had to overcome. But I know now, from reflecting, that in a way I wanted to share my story as a way to close that chapter of my life.
Yeah.
And move forward, and carry on living, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hard out.
Yeah.
Man. So where does your journey begin?
I want to start off with when I had my eldest, just because it'll give some perspective on where I was, where I ended up, and then who I am now.
Oh, hard out.
Yeah.
Oh, take us on a walk there, girl.
Yeah, so when I was 17, I got pregnant with my eldest, and my family were like, we want to support you, we can take baby and stuff like that, but I was like, no, I got myself into this situation. I want to learn from this, I want to grow with this child, I want to, I just wanted to, I don't know, in a way prove to myself that I might be a young mum, but that's not going to stop me from becoming who I want to become, and reaching my goals. I want to show this child mistakes happen, or things happen, but
unexpected.
Yeah, it doesn't have to slow you down or stop you from getting where you want to. It just changes your perspective on how to get to that goal, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Changes the route.
Yeah, exactly.
But not the destination, eh?
Yeah, hard out. And then, had my eldest, and long story short, he's to my eldest is to one guy, and I've got met another guy, and we basically, we tried for a kid for about 10 years. And for sorry.
Oh, no, you're right.
And we would get pregnant, but the baby wouldn't stay. And that was kind of rough, because we both wanted kids, and it was really hard to hear from people that would ask us, when are you guys having kids, and and just not wanting to have that conversation at the time, not strong enough, I guess. And at the time, when people would ask me, why don't you guys have kids, or when are you guys having kids, my interpretation of that question was that they really didn't want me to unload my baggage onto them about miscarriage, I guess. And so the other thing is, with my 17-year-old, every birthday he had always asked for a brother or a sister. And yeah, so that was kind of hard to have to hear from my son, every birthday, like, before you blow out your candles, make a wish. And he'd be like, oh, I want a sibling. And it was just like, oh, we're trying, mentally, like, you're trying. And yeah, but children don't understand that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
but as a parent, you want to give your children everything. But yeah, in 2015, I fell pregnant, and with my now angel baby. And man, my pregnancy was it was rough. It was so rough. And
In what way?
I was incredibly sick. Like, with all my pregnancies, I've always been really sick, like with like vomiting and like heavy bleeding, and in and out of hospital all the time. But yeah, on June the 10th, gave birth to a beautiful baby boy with like these big eyes, and oh my gosh. And yeah, man, that was like our first baby, like seeing my man like finally holding his little boy, like his firstborn. Yeah, that was, it was so amazing. And he had like such a blessed life, man. My son, like he was such a really good baby, like really structured and routine. So I was like, okay, he's like wakes at this time, feeds at this time, done at this time. So I was like, sweet, I'm going to go back to work and get you into daycare. And so luckily, like where I worked at the time, like daycare was like 2 buildings over, so I could like zip over at lunch and like feed baby and stuff, and then come back and
Man.
yeah. So it was like so good. It was so awesome. Like and my eldest and my son, like those two had such a good connection. Because he finally had like a sibling.
How old was he at that time?
My eldest was 10.
Oh
Yeah.
Big brother.
Yeah. Oh man, he loved him so much. And would like carry him everywhere. I've got like videos of them, like my baby boy on his shoulders, and yeah. Oh. Yeah. So we always had like, every week was routine. Like Monday my son did paper run, and Tuesday he had like rugby training, and Wednesday was, everything was always like routine and structured. And so like one day it was just a normal day. Like my son had to do his paper run, and I was getting my baby boy ready for like our walk to take my son to do his paper run, and like got baby like bathed and in his pajamas, and put him into his bike. And
How old was he?
he was 15 months. Yeah, at the time. And my eldest, he chucked all his paperwork for the paper run into his backpack, and and so I was just in like t-shirt and shorts and sneakers, getting ready for our walk, and was pushing my son out the door to go down the stairs to go for our walk. And I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, one thing led to another, and the handle came out of my son's bike, It was one of those push bikes that have the handle on the back and the railing around here and the seatbelt here and
Keep going.
oh yeah, and I was pushing my son down the stairs and the handlebar came out and my son fell in the bike down the stairs. And what had happened was because he was buckled in, he couldn't come out of the bike, so all his face kind of took the impact of it all. And it all happened like really, really fast. Like, so I like quickly ran down the stairs, grabbed my son, like quickly took him out, shot back inside, and was like screaming to my son, like, grab the ice pack, grab something, like, yeah. And so my poor son was like freaking out, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like he ran to the kitchen and was like trying to grab the ice pack or whatever. I shot into the bathroom with my son and was just like pouring the water over his face, like trying to get the blood off him. And it was really bad. Like there was just blood everywhere. So I was like, fuck, this is not working. Like, grabbed the ice pack off my son and he was like, what happened? And I was just like, oh, I need to get in the car, we need to go to A&E. So I called out to my sister who lived with me at the time and I was just like, we need to go to A&E and I need you to drive. So I jumped in the back and had the ice pack on his head while she drove and went to A&E and was like trying to like quickly explain to them, like, I need someone to like stitch my son up, like he's bleeding. And when I showed them his face, they were just like, no, you don't need to bring him here, he needs to go to Starship. And I was like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to know? Like, yeah. So then they're like, oh, you're gonna have to wait for an ambulance. And so I was like, okay, like trying to calm my son down. And they were giving him like painkillers and stuff, and it was just like nothing was working, and they were trying to give him like ice blocks and stuff, and jumped in the ambulance and ended up at Starship. And they were just like, you know, what happened? And like I explained to them, like my son was on his bike, he fell down the stairs, and like we went to A&E and they brought us here. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna have to do like some tests on him, or we're gonna have to like look him over and stuff and admit him. And so that was on the 27th of September. And then the 28th of September, they were like, oh, you know, we've cleaned him up and stuff, the bleeding stopped. We'll just keep him in for some more observations, and then you guys should be able to go home tomorrow. So that was the 28th, and we were just like, sweet, okay. And then the 29th of September, I don't know what the fuck happened, but he started showing signs. Oh my god. So I thought that everything was okay. Because, sorry.
You're right.
I thought that everything was okay because we were told that we were going to get discharged. So I was like, oh, okay. But then I was asking the doctors questions like, we've been in here for 2 days, but he hasn't had a nappy change. Like, something's not right. Like, we came in on the 27th. It's now the 29th. Something's not right. Like, he should be like, we should have at least changed his nappy by now. And then they're like, oh, we've got him on fluids and we're taking care of him. It's okay. And I was like, nah, fuck. Like, something is not right. Like, surely with all these fluids going into him, he should have like pissed or shit or like something. And then they're like, oh, we'll just keep him in for like another 24 hours, do some obs, and yeah. And So I had stayed by my son's side the entire time, until the 29th. There, oh my god. The staff at the hospital said, you know, you've basically been awake for like 2 days. You need to go and rest. And I was just like, nah, I'll rest when we go home. And then they're like, no, like, you've barely eaten, you've barely slept, you've like, you can't be here for your son if like you're not okay. And so I was like, oh fuck. So then we went to the Ronald McDonald house and slept the night there. And then like I always had my phone on vibrate, like I never have it on loud or anything. And then in the morning I saw I had some missed calls and I was just like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, so when we went back to the hospital, like where baby was, they had moved him into NICU, and we're saying, you know, like, it's not looking good, and I was just like, hey, weren't we supposed to be fucking going home? Like,
how the fuck do we go from this to...
Yeah. So I was like, oh, like, this doesn't make sense. And at the time, like, everyone was... people were messaging asking for updates on my son.
Yeah.
But I had been telling them, like, oh, we're going to go home tomorrow. We're going home. Like, everything's fine. Like, no one needs to panic kind of thing. Until, the 29th, then I was like, oh, shit. I could feel my thoughts going bad.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I need to panic. But I was like, nah, like, come on, you got to be positive. Like, he's going to pull through. Like, you know, like this, it's okay. Like, they've said, like, they're just keeping him in for obs. We're going home. We're going to go home. And then, like, I was talking to my son's dad and was just like, man, I'm feeling nervous, eh? Like, oh, man, yeah. And he was like,
At that time, were you just still thinking that it was baby's face, you know, like that he had, or were you thinking it was something worse than that, like?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it was something worse because, like, he was on a drip and, like, how, it didn't make sense to me that we hadn't changed his nappy the entire time. And I was just like, you know, like, something's not adding up. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think I will. Like, yeah, just so we went into the hospital on the 27th, like, that evening. The next day the police came and to question me because they were like, how did your son get these injuries? And I was like, I didn't think anything at the time. I was like, oh, they just want to know, like, just for the paperwork. So I was like, said to them, like, this was our routine. My son was on his bike. We did this every day. The handle came out. He fell down the stairs. Like, that's what happened. And then they were like, okay. And then, so that was in the morning. And then in the afternoon, like, another set of cops came. And they're like, oh, we just want to double check your story because you said this happened, but, like, something's not adding up. And I was like, oh, okay, all good. The whole time my son's, like, in a hospital room, like, just there. I'm out here getting questions. But at the time I was like, you know, they just want to know what's happening. Give them their answers. Go back to your son. That's all you have to do. So I was like, okay.
Like, you're not there to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Because you haven't done anything. And
They just want to know what happened. So tell them what happened. Here you go. My son was on the bike. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're supposed to be going home soon.
Yeah. And
then, the next day they came back again, and I was like, fuck, man, what is going on? Like, why do they keep coming back, man? Like, my story's not changing because this is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, so how many steps are there? Like, what? What do you mean how many steps are there? Like, I don't know, go to my house and count. And then they're like, no, but you said you do this every day.
Oh.
So how many steps? And I was like, I don't know, like 8, 9, 11. I don't know. Like, my son's in here sick with, like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but, like, here, like, here's my address.
Like, what the fuck are you insinuating? Get it over with and fuck off.
Yeah.
So I can tend to my child.
Oh, hey. Exactly. And so then I said to my son's dad, like, fuck, have they come in, like, every day? I feel like they've come in every day. And he was like, yeah, this is, like, they're coming in, like, 2 or 3 times a day, like, but it's different people. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm losing the plot, like, oh, I think I just need some rest, but, like, I can rest when we go home, like, oh, we just have to hang in there for, like, another 24 hours. And then, yeah, so then my son got moved to NICU, and I remember when he was in there, that's when the registrar and all the other nurses and stuff were saying, like, we're not sure what's wrong with him, but we're going to be honest with you, we don't think he's going to pull through. And I was like, wait, what the fuck, what are you talking about? Like, we were told yesterday that we're going to go home today, and I've told all the police everything. Like, what do you mean we're not going to, like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, and then they were like, oh, I'll call your family to come down and say their last goodbyes, and I was like, wait, hang on, like, I've done everything right. Like, I've told the police what happened, like, I feel like I've asked the right questions, like, why hasn't my son, like, why haven't we changed his nappy? Like, what do you mean my son might not survive? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then they're like, oh, we need to do some more tests and stuff. We're not sure specifically what's wrong. We need to find out, like, what bug he's got so we can give him the right antibiotics, and then things might be okay, but they might not be. So I was like, okay, they said that they might be okay. So
glimmer of hope.
Yeah, hang in there. Like, just focus on getting these tests done and then getting the right antibiotics. Okay. And then, like, I remember telling my son's dad, like, okay, so this is what they said, and this is what's going to happen. So we got to make sure that they get the right antibiotics into him. And then my son's dad said, like, just so you know, if he ends up in that room across the hall, he's not coming back out of it alive. And I was like, hey, what are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, every kid that's gone into that room across the hall, they don't come out alive. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not us, babe. Like, we've got this. They just have to do the tests and then we'll be okay. And he was just like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, that evening on the 29th, they were like, we gotta put him on life support because his brain's shutting down. His spleen's not working. And as his brain shuts down, so will the rest of his body. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, this morning we were told we could be going home. Then this afternoon you're telling me he's got some bug. And then tonight you're telling me he's on life support? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is too much to, like, absorb. And, they were telling us this information in that room across the hall. So I was like, oh my fucking gosh, no, this can't be happening to us. Like, yeah, so then that night they were saying, like, he's showing signs that he's not going to pull through. Like, his then the next day they told us that they'll start turning off his machines. That was on the 30th of September. And man, I just remember my phone going off constantly with people wanting to know, like, updates about my son. And I just remember thinking, like, fuck, how the fuck did we get here? Like, just 2 days ago, we were told we were going to go home. And then less than 24 hours ago, I had to try and wrap my head around my son being on life support. Like, and now they're trying to give me they're trying to tell me to give them a time when to turn his machines off. And I'm like, oh, not today, please. I don't want to do this. Like, can we just try and hang in there? Like, people can come back from this. But then they're like, no, like his fingers are changing colour, like his circulation isn't working, and yeah, just too many body parts are shutting down. And I'm not sure if you know this, but when they turn off life support, they do a test run first. Fucked up, eh?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first test run, sorry.
You're right.
Fuck, I was like, please, God. I even put on Facebook to, like, all my friends, everybody, like, pray to whoever you pray to, like, please, like, get him to breathe again, get his brain working. Like, this is our first child together. Like, what the fuck did we do to deserve this? What did he do? Like, he was such a good baby. Like, fuck. So, yeah, the first test run, like, nah. He wouldn't breathe by himself, and yeah. So I was like, holy fuck, the next time this happens will be the last time. So I'll literally hold him while he takes his last breath, like, and
A lot's process.
fuck, and that was heavy. That was so heavy. We had, like, all our family, like, trying to get into that room, and oh my God. I don't think I've ever prayed so much in my life, eh? While they were, like, turning off those switches for the last time. And yeah, that moment was so life-changing, because when they did turn all his machines off, I just remember being, like, so numb. Yeah. Like, man, he just had his last breath. I just saw his chest move for the last time. Like, everything was like the last time. That was the last time this happened, and I was so completely numb. And then 30 minutes later, the police turned up to question me again. And I was like, fuck, are you serious? Like, I'm just holding my lifeless child, and I have to answer these same fucking questions again? Like, what the fuck is going on? So I had to hand my son over to, like, another family member, go into the next room and get questioned. And I was like, wait, why am I getting questioned? Like, my son just died in my fucking arms, and you want to know what happened? Like, how many times do you need to fucking hear it?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we just need to know if your story's changed or if you remember something different. And I was like, it's the same shit we do every day. Like, what? No, like, everything. No, like, this is what happened. And yeah, they were just like, oh, okay, we'll probably have questions for you later. And I was just like, man, what the fuck is going on? So then my son went to the morgue at the hospital, and we could walk him down, and we couldn't take him out until we got, like, a funeral what are they called? Like someone to look after him, like his funeral arrangement.
Funeral director.
Yeah. We couldn't take him until we got a funeral director. And then the other thing is they had to do an autopsy on him as well to double check, like what had happened.
Cause of death.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay, like you guys do what you got to do. Like I just want my son back. I just want my son. And then we went home that night, and then the next day I had to get. I wanted to get down to the hospital to see my son and that, but like again they were like, oh, can't let him go until you have a funeral director. And I was like, okay, can I just go in to see my son in there? And they were just like, oh no. Went home, and then I went home, and then there were like a whole lot of police at my house, and I was just like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? And there were all these like investigators to find out like what happened to my son, and they were questioning like my family that I live with, my neighbours, like in this whole process they'd like questioned his daycare and like just everybody. Wow. And I was like, wait,
like there's a full-on investigation going on.
Yeah. And I was just like, what's happening? Like my son, it was just, my son's in like a morgue. I want my son home, and then I have to go with you guys to the police station. Like, what? You've already heard my story. What are you talking about? And then ended up at the police station 6 hours later. That was intense. Getting questioned about my son's death and his accident, and during that 6 hours it felt like they wanted me to say something that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was, man, that was so...
On top of what already you were going through.
Yeah. So I had so many negative thoughts going on, but like I've always been the kind of person that'll be like, find that little positivity and stick with that. Like, just don't focus on any of the other bullshit that's going on. Focus on that positivity. And I think for me that 6 hours really that changed me. That really, because like I've never been in trouble with the police before, and just the questions that they were asking were just so intense and really specific. Like, how many steps were there? Okay, so what was he wearing? What were you wearing? Oh, I thought you had these shoes on. Like, what has that got to do with my son? Like, what's happening here? And while I'm getting like questioned by the police, I'm still getting like messages bombarded from like people wanting to know like, how did he die? Why did he die? Like, what's going on? Why aren't you messaging me? I've messaged you.
Oh, fuck that.
And then on top of that, like, I have family members saying, like, so we need to get on top of the funeral director so we can get baby home and stuff like that. And then other people asking like, are you going to have the funeral here or over there? And I'm just like, fuck, I've just come out of 6 hours of questioning. Like, my son just passed away. Like, 2 days ago, we're going home. Like, can you just just let me breathe? And then, like, you can't, because the baby's still stuck in there. Like, you can't get him out until you've got a funeral director. And, it was just, like, bombarded of negativity. Like, I was drowning in it. And, so I told myself, just do what you've got to do to get through this funeral, to get it all sorted. And then, like, once it's all sorted, then you can process everything. And then, stupidly, I thought, like, I'll find some positivity and move forward. And yeah, it wasn't until my son was in the ground and I could see his coffin and people started putting dirt on it that I was like, wow, you didn't even kiss your son goodbye. Like, you didn't, like, did you hold him properly when they turned off the machines? Like, all these little things were crept into my mind, like, fuck, you should have asked more questions. I was trying to think of ways that I could have prevented this from happening. And, like, I went downhill real fast, eh? Like, I blamed myself for his death for years because the police did too. And I felt like that message was reinforced at the police station. Like, you did this. And so, like, for years I believed that my son passed away because of me. And, man, that guilt was so heavy. And all the negative thoughts, I believed them. And I didn't know that drugs existed. I didn't know anything except for alcohol. So I would drink myself blind. And I ended up being, like, really suicidal because I thought, fuck, I don't deserve to be on this world. I don't deserve to, like, live. Like, my son was so good. He should be here. I shouldn't be. And at the time I was looking after my mum and she has stage 4 cancer. And I just went into her medication and just took it all. And yeah, I was like, fucking, please, fucking take me out of this world. Like, I honestly don't deserve to be here. And ended up in hospital and getting my stomach pumped, and I was like, fucking hell, it didn't work. And then, like, just going around my house and trying to find some more medication and just, like, drowning myself in, like, Panadols and yeah. And long story short, I ended up getting committed under the Mental Health Act because I kept trying to commit suicide. So that was the only way that they could like, save me, I guess. And then I ended up in like a mental
institution.
Yeah, with, like, really, really sick people. And at the time I was like, I'm not sick, I'm fucking grieving. And no one's helping me. Like, people were trying to help me, but I was like, the help I wanted was to die. Like,
oh yeah, I know.
I don't want to be here. That's you guys wanting to, like, keep me here. Like, why? It didn't make sense to me why everyone wanted to help me, because, like, I'm the one that, I felt like I was the one that killed my son. Yeah, so I ended up in, like, a mental institution with, like, really, really sick people. And fucking, that was so scary, man. That was one of the most scariest experiences of my life. Like, as a person who was grieving and then seeing, like, really, really sick people and just being like, fuck, okay, if you keep staying on this path, like, this is how you're going to end up. Like, you need to get your shit together. So then, like, I was just like, okay, I need to sort out my sons. I'm failing, and I need to claw back from this, man. I need to get somewhere, do something. I need to get back to thinking about the positives. And I got pregnant with my baby girl. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was So I needed that she saved me, man. She saved my life, because if I just felt like I can't hurt myself, because then I'm going to be hurting her, kind of thing. Yeah, so she was due around my son's anniversary. Oh my gosh, so I was like, nah, she can't take his day. Like, I need to have this baby earlier. Yeah, so we got like I had a scheduled C-section so that like their dates didn't change and stuff. Yeah. So like baby had her birthday and he had his day. And yeah, I just flipped my life around after I had my girl, man. Like, oh, and then seeing my eldest and seeing him like doing so well with like his stuff, I was like, man, you've got so much to live for. Like, yeah, that was incredibly sad and like that kind of thing. And then I didn't think about the autopsy or anything. Like, that didn't occur to me. We got his autopsy results back.
Oh, fuck, it sounds like he had heaps going on.
We didn't get the results back until 2020. So my son passed away in 2017.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, 2020. And because I had forgotten about all of that, so I was like, life is good. Like, getting my stuff to get back to work, you know, get my daughter sorted. And then we got the autopsy results, and I was like, fuck, I shot back down again, eh? I was like, fucking, yeah. And then I didn't know that they took pieces of him, and I was like, what the hell? And they were all in like little containers, like his skin, bits of his organs and hair, and just seeing all the little boxes of like my son, I was like, what the fuck? So my son wasn't buried as a whole person? Like, I didn't know that that's what happened. And yeah, so that sent me right back. I was just like, man, you thought you deserved to live? Like, nah, this is the universe reminding you that don't forget about this child that you hurt, eh? And that's how stupid my mind was, like, at the time, was like, yeah. And I was so low at that point. And like, I remember thinking like, I just need like a glimmer of positivity. And I found out I was pregnant again. And I was like, oh my gosh, 2020 is my year. And I was like, oh, yay. And then we went for my scan in March. And yeah, there was no heartbeat. And I was like, bro, fucking, am I really getting knocked back again? Like, man.
God, just when you, and then boom.
Yeah, just when I thought I was doing so well. At the time, I was like, my brain was like, nah, here's the universe to remind you that, no, you don't deserve any good shit, eh? Yeah, and then, like, I went and had my DNC, and lockdown was announced that same evening. And I was like, honest to her, I'm gonna get locked down with my fucking thoughts and feelings, and I can't escape. I can't, like, what are you talking about? Like, oh man, like, and then I told myself, like, nah, you cannot get stuck in this again. You cannot end up like getting committed in a mental institution. Like, you need to find a support system somewhere. And that's when I came across your videos. And I was like, what the fuck? someone else has like experienced this, like child loss, and they're carrying on and they've seen the light. Like, fucking, I want some of that, man. Like, if she can do it, I can. And then yeah, I was just like, okay. And yeah, found such a massive support system through this, eh? And yeah, so that was 2020. Now it's 2022, and I've got like my 8-month-old. In July, I'm about to start studying to be a counsellor, because I was like, man, fucking the shit that I've been through. Books cannot teach you this. And yeah, so I'm going to start studying to be a counsellor, and I just think, like, man, I have been through so much, and I feel like I'm not the only person who's gone through this, and I'm not the only person who will ever go through this.
Your experiences will help so many.
And that's what I'm hoping is, like, to go out there and help our youth and help our mums and help our, you know, because if that's the shit that I went through by myself, imagine how fast my recovery would have been if I had, like, a counsellor that could have, you know, like, but yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So yeah. MIT, watch out. No.
Better check yourself. Fuck, well, far out. I'm blown away. I just want to say, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, we're honoured to have heard your journey, and we wish you nothing but the best. And I'm going to be right there. We're going to be right there, like, bitch.
Did we finish that assignment?
Yeah. So, thank you so much. We love you.